everyone. Welcome to Spirit Switchboard. I am your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Today, I have somebody joining me. I'm super excited. This is my sister, Kristy, and she is going to be joining us for part 2 of the Cosmic DNA series that we're doing with Asria Beckham. So please welcome my sister, Kristy.
Hello.
Some of you may have seen Kristy on. You've been on twice before, right?
I don't know how many times.
Because it's just so much fun.
2, 3, something like that.
So we're going to continue our 3-part special series with Asria Beckham. We'll bring Asria on in just a few moments. Coming back around, if you are enjoying what you are listening to and watching, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing. You can head to uprntalkradio.com to find out more about the hosts that UPRN has, all the shows that we have. There's always new shows joining our UPRN family, and word is that we are getting an updated website with potentially a merch page. So please keep watch for all of that fun stuff that we have going on. Last week on the show, we had my mom. Okay, folks, it looks like Facebook. Looks like Facebook isn't working properly. So if you guys could do a quick shout out and try to encourage folks to pop over onto YouTube for me, that would be fabulous. Let me just give me a second, folks. Thank you. So I see everybody popping in. Heidi Gold, thank you so much. Kristy, yep, that's exactly how she spells it. Hi, Michelle Plummer. Thank you so much. Astrolite Paranormal, thank you so much for being here. We're just going to see if we can fix some of this stuff.
Oh, Facebook.
I know, Facebook. Thanks for popping over onto YouTube. Yeah, there's a few. Interesting. You know, it was when we had, so last week, well, hopefully we're just going to see if Facebook resets itself. We're going to hope it resets itself and that it will go.
What about last week?
So, yeah, it's a Facebook thing. So it's all we can hope that it resets itself. Folks, my mom was on last week. I know that some of you were here for that. It was huge. It was huge for Mom to come on. She was so worried about it. Hi, Jody. Thank you so much for being here. Your ears must have been burning because we were just talking about you.
All good.
All good stuff. We were talking about Guinness and hoping everybody's doing okay.
Mom.
Yeah. So she was super nervous about coming on the show. She was nervous. And then she's like, I don't even know what we're doing. Despite me having conversations with her repeatedly about what it is that we were going to be doing, she was quite nervous. And there was I just wanted to share too, like, I'm so proud of her because I know that she was super nervous. Mm-hmm. And like literally a few minutes before the show, my mom got an email or got word that her first cousin, right? So Evie would be her aunt.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Lorna.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So her first cousin had passed away in a car accident, and the car accident was a drunk driver. And so my mom got this information just a few minutes prior to us going live on the show, and she composed herself so well and moved through the segment really well. And I was just so proud of her. I was proud of her engaging in a conversation that was like outside of her comfort zone, and she asked questions, and she was participating. And my hope with this series too, because I adore Asria, and I find what she does fascinating. And what I was hoping people would get out of it, I saw with Mom, because Mom immediately did research, because there was things that triggered in her this awareness and aha moment. She's like, I always felt like I was meant to heal people and do healing work. And I've never heard Mom say that kind of stuff before, right? And she had never talked about having a past life regression session, like all these like stuff coming out of her. But she did some research about I believe it was in Andromeda. So we'll get Asria to confirm that. But she did this research, and she said, Kerrilynn, I found out like this is about healing work with them. And she was like putting these connections together that felt validating for her, understanding who she is on all levels.
She's all about ancestry.
Yeah.
And DNA. And
yeah, that's how I hooked her into this.
Yeah.
That's how I roped her in.
That started all the psychic stuff.
Yeah. Well, I asked her about Sylvia Browne, and she said no last week. So we have that on video, which you can go back and watch. But I remember reading Sylvia Browne's stuff.
Yes.
Because
she had the book.
Yeah, she had all of them.
And we also drove 9 hours to see a psychic.
You did. I didn't go with her that time.
I waited in the car.
Yeah. But she used to come to the one in Guelph all the time too.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a grifter. Folks.
Yeah.
But there
But it started with her.
Yes.
Curiosity to learn.
Yes. Cindy Waghorn. Okay, Cindy. I'm thank you. Cindy Waghorn, Surrender and Shine, energy work, energy healer, fabulous bright light and being. And I'm so grateful for you popping in and saying hi, and thank you for being here. Michelle Wilfong, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Michelle Wilfong has a fabulous TikTok, My Haunted Apartment. So she post videos from her My Haunted Apartment. Astrolite Paranormal, so Victoria and Victoria has been on the show before, so you can find that segment in our archives. And I get to connect with Astrolite Paranormal at Love Life and Afterlife gallery event that I'm doing at the Station Theater in Smiths Falls, and we're going to be doing an investigation of the theater after.
Cool.
Yeah, I know, it's going to be fun. November 1st, folks.
The whole area around Smiths Falls is supposed to be connected.
Yeah, for sure. All righty. You're so welcome, Michelle. It's my pleasure. Let's bring out Asria. So researcher, intuitive, founder of Ascension Through Connection, Asria Beckham. Hi, Asria.
Hi, everyone. It's so nice to be here and lovely to meet you as well, Kirsty. It really is. I think it was going on from last week's with, your mom as well. And that's just made my heart sing, the fact that she was then, it struck a chord, as you said. So,
it really did. It was fun to have that conversation with her after, and she was very excited about sharing what she had researched and found. And that's the hope in this, right? That there's something that triggers that aha and it's resonating, and I know that you are coming, we're doing a 3-part series and you're coming back next week, and we're going to talk about, okay, so now what? We have this bit of information, and what does it mean, and where do we go from here, and how do we incorporate it? I have all kinds of questions about psychic abilities and ancestors and how does that go? And we're going to talk about all of that stuff next week. This week, unfortunately, so my niece Miah was going to attend, and that was huge too, because Miah is out of our family structure. We're all intuitive. Like, we all have stuff in different ways. I'm the one that jumped in and has built that muscle up as a career and has done this very publicly. You guys have experiences, and you go to Kerrilynn, go to Kerrilynn. So yeah. And your kids, right? And the kids do too. But we can comfortably talk about those things. But when it came to anything alien related, she would shake and cry, like very scared of having that conversation. And I feel even with intuitive stuff or psychic stuff, media plays a big role in that, how it's perceived and the information is given to us, whether it is through pop culture and movies or the information that we're taking in helps shape how we're perceiving that information. So that she agreed to participate in this too, and I kept saying I would never put you in harm's way. I would never put you in a position that would be hurtful to you. Right. Even for my mom, I wouldn't put my mom in a position where she would be embarrassed or hurt in any way. So
we have a store here in town, and for the longest time, it had a giant ET dressed up, like 3 foot tall, and she would walk around off the sidewalk to go away from it because it just heaved her out. She was so scared of it. It was like, no.
Oh, wow, that's the major reaction, eh?
Yeah. And I'm friends as well too. Like, I have found, even when we are doing the seances at the house and we have the spirit box going there, it's starting to take a shift where there is something that sounds like what we would perceive as clicks and chittering.
Here?
Yep. Yeah, it's happened twice now. Yeah.
Clicks can sometimes clicks can be a bit more of a sign, but that would be interesting. So I know even on last week's show, I think Lorelei was saying that there was like a woman's voice or something coming through as we were talking. Yeah. So there's certainly more activity recently, which is not a bad thing.
A lot of people private messaged me after saying that it was almost like a second person in your room talking at the same time.
Yeah. No, I just have my 4-legged, my little doggy who's literally lying on my foot, but that's it.
My dogs went into, and Kristy's here, so yeah.
We made it rain with treats.
Yeah, we had to give them treats and lock them out because they go nuts when my sister's here. So I wanted to start because I wanted to start with you, actually, our guest. But I had a specific question that I thought of just like 5 minutes before and I had to write it down. So I want to come back to it. Okay. If you could talk about your own cosmic DNA lineage, if you would be comfortable with that, and how does that guide your work in what you're doing for us today, or what you've done for other people as well too? How does knowing your cosmic lineage help you do what you're doing for us?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really, really great question. So thank you. My major one or major connection really is similar to yours, is very much the felines and the Lyrans. they have been with me for and been a part of me since I can remember. I didn't know kind of growing up and things exactly who they were or what they were. It was only in the past, as I said, about 15 or so years when I started really working with ET, aliens, off-worlders, star beings, however you like to refer. And then from there, because I remember sort of going to various meditations, and there would just be this amazing, well, you can see even like behind me the cats and things. So with them, it was I mean, we could go into quite a lot of detail, but the main point for me was really around, how can I put this? Having that confirmation of exactly who they were and what they were, as I said, many years ago, kind of gave me a direction, kind of gave me a little bit more of a purpose. So with me, my journey was very, very, well, slightly different in regards to, or maybe not as very different, but kind of like from a very young age, seeing things, noticing things, seeing spirits, working with energies, seeing auras, etc. But as I said, it was only really 15 years ago that I got introduced to my first guide, who I think I mentioned before, appeared almost though kind of like slightly transparently. And then the actual being was one that was not a feline at all, which completely and utterly threw me. However, going through this whole learning process, and as I said, when I started asking the questions about 6-7 years ago now, again, excuse me on the timelines, and I started asking the questions, okay, who actually, that's all well and good having sort of your spirit, your guides, and I know and have a really strong belief, like I believe most of us do, that we actually come down with a full team. We don't just come down with one who will support us throughout, and sometimes that main one, if you like, changes as we move through. But it's really when I started asking the questions and finding out my own. So in answer to your question, it was really, they were the ones who started providing the transmissions directly. So there was one particular feline who's slightly moved on now, who was providing a lot of the information. Some people will call it channeling. I call it transmissions, because to me, channeling is very different, is where you get that joining of the energies of the souls, and then you get the changing of the voice, etc. That's not necessarily how I see it and do it. It's more of images, messages, etc. that get transferred.
Pops of information that just get, there you go.
I mean, I think some people now call it downloads, maybe. And I think that's where in a lot of where we're kind of learning the new terminology, and we're learning how our star beings, families and that work, and how we work, and what aligns with us and what works best for us as individuals.
This connection was so important to me because it validated an experience that I had. So the first time that I had you on the show, I think I mentioned it then. I was having a lot of issues with my oldest son, who's in the autism spectrum, and I had asked my divine team, or whichever guide it was that had information to help me understand how to best support him, and it was an alien guide, an alien being, and I saw this DNA coding thing, and there was two of them that were overlapped, and so it clicked after, like, anyway, I didn't remember all of that stuff because it was just around when Gavin was being, like when I was pregnant with Gav. So my world was crazy train, and there was lots going on for me energetically and spiritually. There was so much going on, and that was one of the things, which I did not talk about for a very long time because I was already feeling like cray.
People already think I'm crazy.
Yes, because there was so much. It was just fast paced. The healing, and that was part of it though, was that there was healing. I was on this fast paced journey of healing, and that cosmic guide came in as part of the healing journey for me. So in meeting you and tapping into that, it feels like a natural progression. So I feel for people where this may be kind of outside of their comfort zone, continuing to have this conversation helps them be more open-minded, that dimensionally, there are other beings at play who are part of our divine team, and to be open-minded to that.
Yeah, absolutely. 110%. And I said, that's where, and thank you so much for saying that. And I absolutely agree, because the way in which I pick up these frequencies is, and I won't go on to this for too long, because I said I have mentioned it in the previous ones, but when we are multidimensional beings. So there is a multidimensional kind of like architecture within us. And when I say I believe that we are just on the cusp of learning exactly what our capabilities are, what the possibilities are of us as a human being, but also as a soul, as a star being as well. Because yes, we got those kind of psychic abilities. Yes, there are those other abilities, maybe to read certain languages, and there's a whole list. But actually, I really strongly feel that there's more. So what this does is I tune into the etheric field. So you've got your toroidal, and then obviously all the layers in between. So I kind of see the energy bodies is kind of like, and most people will know this as energy healers, etc. Is kind of like an onion. So I get into a certain layer of that onion and start picking up on those different frequencies that are there of those particular beings that we've been picking up, who we've either been, who we've had in contact with, and who we're working with now. Within all of our, I'll use air quotes around lifetimes, because obviously time is a human constraint, a human concept. So I mirror those frequencies of those beings.
Right.
So I kind of like almost provide this galactic lineage blueprint, if you like to say. These are the beings and these are the frequencies that are already within you, that
Right.
you can, with free will, go and tap into, to say, that's who I'd like to be working with. That's the abilities that I'd like to now utilize on this planet right here, right now. And as you kindly said earlier, like with your mum, for an example, who had this information and has now gone on to continue her own journey and her own looking into things. And even with yourself, Kerrilynn, in regards to, yes, you've had previous experiences, but this was another level of validation to say, yes, actually, that being is around me, or that being is in me. So yes, potentially you could then tune into them more using your free will, because I'm not telling you who you are. I'm just giving you a blueprint for you to carry on that journey.
And the free will is an important part. Like, yes, the free will is there with our divine team, spirit guides, all of that as well too. They're all angels. They're all standing around waiting for us to say, okay, now you have permission to intervene. They don't intervene without our permission. Like we're giving them permission to work with us. So again, kind of moving back whatever perceived or projected notions that those beings will Yeah.
No, I'm just thinking how my partner is always saying, which personality am I speaking to now? And I'm like, that's not my personality. That's my guide, Amy.
Right. So we're going to find out what your cosmic DNA is and come up with an alien name.
Yeah.
And that's who he's going to be talking to next.
That could be another one as well, hey?
Yes. But I think hearing that free will, right? And helping people, again, be more open to that. Oh, Jackie, I know. So Jackie, I appreciate you finding us. So finally found you here. Facebook not streaming you tonight. Welcome back to the show again. Kristy, love it when you're sharing space with KL discussion. So interesting already. Thank you very much, Jackie. I know if anybody has an opportunity to do a quick shout out, even on our porch group, and just let people know to pop over onto YouTube, it would be appreciated. I know it's not streaming in all the places that it should be. It doesn't look like it's streaming on Roku tonight either. So I think that we were going to start with Miah's, even though she's not here. Thank you very much, Jackie. I know that she gave us permission to talk about her stuff tonight. And
I'm her mom, so it'll be interesting to hear about her personalities.
Qualities and characteristics.
Yes, that too.
Not her personality. We know her personality.
Charming.
Hello, Contessa Martins. Thank you so much for being here. Contessa is saying hello. So this is my sister, Kristy. I forgot to put your name up. I'm so sorry. My sister, Kristy, is joining us tonight.
Yes. We're neighbors too.
I know.
We live like 10 doors down.
Yep. Lucky for everyone. Right.
2 on 1 street.
Are we okay? Is there anything that you want to share prior to starting?
No, not at all. Not at all. Just that we'll be just referring to a few notes here, but no, other than that, and thank you so much, Miah, for being giving me the opportunity as well to not only start the reading with you, but also to be sharing this. So thank you.
Did you bring the unifier? Did you bring the unicorn horn tonight? Can you show folks? I don't think Kristy has seen it yet either. Look at that. Folks, it is like the biggest unicorn horn made out of selenite.
Oh.
Yeah. It was beautiful. And I know, Lorelei said she's got one very similar, but it was more around, as I said, I've been dowsing and using pendulums and that since I was about 12. So I think one of the reasons why it was this particular, I would actually call it a pendulum because it is, I mean, the definition of a pendulum is a weight on the end of a rope or a string, so it is that in definition. But as we were talking about before, with regards to what the crystal does, with regards to what the copper does. But one of the things that I really would be really great to mention though, is the unifier was only really the start of it all in order to help me start tuning in. Because as I said, this journey started 5+ years ago when I said I was just starting to tune into the different frequencies, tune into the different beings. So it was easier for me to also have a tool, because as some people will find that actually using your hands, using something more visual, as humans, or maybe as somebody who is neurodiverse or whatever the case may be, I found very useful. But over the years, I do use this less and less because it's the frequencies that I'm starting to pick up. So when it is the physical reactions, when it's the energetic frequencies that I'm picking up, whether it's the being stepping forward, whether it's the other images that I'm getting through, all of this, all at the same time. Some of the times, like I did actually use it with Miah's as well, because it was a little bit tricky to start with, in all honesty. So that's when the unified does come back out to give me that absolute certain that that is the one that I'm on. Because when we are doing well, because sometimes they said just doing a level 1 can take an hour, 2 hour, however long it takes. But when we are only doing, said, at a very, very high level, we're not necessarily going too deep. It is always good for me personally to use the unifier as a secondary check, if you like, to say, yes, that's what I've got through. And sometimes also, and where you rightly said earlier, around that hesitation, not only with off-worlders, aliens, etc., within said have personality, behaviors, and sorry, I hate talking about a third person when they're not here. It's a bit strange, but and so that's what I was picking up energetically as well. It was a little bit difficult. So yes, the unifier did come back out in order to clarify, because remember, we are only doing this on a level 1, on a high level. So we're only really picking up on those dominant, on those higher frequencies.
I appreciate you.
We are doing the lower ones as well.
Sorry, I appreciate you sharing that, because when I first started giving readings for people, when I was doing this, starting to do this full time, I would carry, I would lug 10 decks of cards with me, and I'd have all this stuff. I mean, all the information was coming from out here. It was coming through me anyway. But I, in my head, felt that I needed all this extra stuff, whether it was a visual for the person or giving me that extra confidence, as I built that muscle up. And then over time, it was so I'm very similar to you. Every once in a while, I feel like I held my breath there. So if I held my breath, sometimes it closes the door a wee bit on the other side. So let me just pull a few cards and make sure that I'm on the right track. Boop, 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 pull 3, and yep, I'm okay. Good. So let's move on. It's, I don't know whether it's the confidence, the muscle, and it is a frequency. And I love how much you use the word frequency, because it's all frequency. Grandma on the other side, our guides, our angels, our cosmic family are all, we each have our own unique frequency. And the more that we tap the tree, the cup, the bench, everything has a frequency. So the more that you lean into it, the more you let go of those labels, and you're tapping in such a beautiful, unconditional way.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. And thank you so much for sharing that and validating that as well, because I think at the end of the day, it's where I was saying earlier around that we are so multidimensional, and we have these various connections, and sorry, some of the people in the UK might laugh at this, or maybe Americans do, but we are the tool.
Yes.
Sorry, a tool is kind of like you're a bit
no, yeah, I know where you're going with that.
But yeah. I don't mean it that way. But that we, that our bodies and our energetic fields and our connections are so powerful that we don't actually know it yet. And as you very kindly shared there, is that, yeah, over time, we're utilizing those muscles, we're using them, and they're just getting stronger. Because I never ever thought in a million years that I'd move away from using the unifier. I was like, no, you can't. And it was only one day that I was doing this one for a lady that I talk about a lot, because it was kind of like a breakthrough moment, where I was also shown this movie screen of where she was in one of the conflicts off worlds and things like that. And then I realized that when I'd sort of come round and come to a little bit, this was nowhere to be seen.
Right.
Oh, it gives me goosebumps. Sorry.
It's so
it
gives
me goosebumps every time I mention it. And I was like, oh, I've done that without using it. Ooh, wow. And so it was, it was You're learning all the time.
We are always learning. And and that's a thing. I tell people, if you are connecting with someone who is not saying that they're still growing and learning, then there's an issue, because we can never say that we are fully the expert in this. We are constantly learning and growing, or should be, hopefully. Miss Tia Bean, hello. Good evening, lovely ladies. Right back at you, bright light. Tia, this is my sister Kristy. Kristy, Tia.
Hi, Tia.
Okay, we're gonna tap into Miah.
Okay.
Yes. Let's go. So so we were saying there around how it was slightly tricky there, but with Miah, the main being I got through the strongest frequency was Lyran. So when we think about our Lyran beings, we normally think about felines. That isn't always the case, and that's the distinction that I really wanted to make, because there are Lyrans within themselves, and they're normally kind of like quite tall beings. They're not necessarily at the same higher dimensions as the felines. I haven't had too much connections with the Lyrans per se. I know, like with my connections, it's predominantly feline. And the being that actually showed its face, and I know we can look at the images and that later, but is really around. There was a gorgeous kind of like slightly elongated face, and they were very tall. Had a beautiful white cloak. Which I will say a little bit more in a moment about. So as I said, they do come from the Lyran constellation, which is the oldest seeding grounds of human life, as some of us do know. They do have blue, green, or maybe hazel eyes. I couldn't really see the picture of Miah, so I'm not too sure, but certainly that's quite a clear distinction sometimes when we're looking at some of the more physical elements.
She looks like Snow White.
She has hazel eyes, but yeah.
She has hazel eyes and dark hair and white skin. She looks like Snow White. She's stunning. Wavy curly hair.
Yeah.
She's stunning. She looks like Snow White.
Yeah. Sounds absolutely stunning.
Yeah. She doesn't look like her. No.
So when we're kind of talking about more, as you said earlier, around kind of like the abilities, behaviors, etc., we're really looking at a few things, really, and I'm referring to my notes here because there were certain things that really were sticking out for me during my sessions here. Is I feel that she's got quite a warrior spirit, and I say that because there has been like the Lyran and Draco conflicts. And I'm kind of taking the smiles as a good thing or a bad thing.
I say determined, but
so
yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I kind of got a warrior spirit, but you could take determination from that. Yep.
In two different ways. Like she's resilient too, right? So she keeps moving through.
Yeah.
To achieve. So I see warrior in two different ways, not just butting heads in conflict, but moving through her own stuff. Yeah.
I do feel as though there are very much kind of like a slightly older soul. In regards to she kind of knows stuff even before that she's the age where she should maybe know it. And again, that's very familiar with Lyrans as well. I do. What else we got here? We've got. They're very much like community, like new projects. I mean, we could go down a whole rabbit hole. And as I said when we were on the show last week, is that these are just a couple of points that came up during the reading, hence referring to my notes here. So, I mean, she's more than welcome to go and kind of like research this a little bit more. I do have a couple of messages that kind of very much came through as well. As I said, sometimes this happens, sometimes it doesn't.
With projects, is it creativity?
Yeah.
That's very much her.
Yeah, kind of thinking outside the box.
Yes.
Creating new projects, bringing people together, but doing it in quite a systematic way.
That could be developing. She's young.
Might be a bit scatty at the moment, but
she's got the cart before the horse, but it's there.
Yeah,
we're both
she
there.
gets there. Thank you so much for being here. And Mary Jane, so good to see you. Hello.
Let's see what else came up here. So the one thing I did hear, so there's 3 things, if you don't mind, I'm just going to read off here. What she thought she saw wasn't as bad as it was. That will make sense either now or later, because I really feel that one of the beings that potentially came through earlier was one of the Lyrans, because they, as I said, they are very, very tall. But that was just one strong kind of line that came through. Again, using that white cloak, that if she does feel overwhelmed or unsure, is you know, kind of like the old Red Riding Hood one, where it's kind of like the big hood, where she can kind of like pull that over, or visualize it, because that would be something that she would, as what I'm being told, is what she would feel quite comfortable with, and quite familiar with. So if there's ever a time when she's maybe feeling not as confident or a bit afraid, or whatever the case may be there. I did also get, and said this is on a from a quite a dominant frequency as well, is there was some of our avian friends that were hanging around in there as well. You can kind of see where this is going.
Yep.
Not as strong, really, really not as strong, but I felt it, so I'm sharing it.
Could you explain it, Kristy?
Sorry?
Could you explain the avian? I know we talked about it last week
with
my mom, but if you could share a little bit about that, please.
Yeah, so avians are kind of like bird-like creatures. So bird-like beings. Sorry, I'm being told off here. So, and they are very much within the Lyra constellation as well. But the main things I got through with that was truth, love, freedom, and seeing things from a higher perspective. So you've kind of got the Lyrans who are very, how can you say, the first word that came to mind was cosmic, who are very in tune. But then you've got the avians who kind of come in and get the job done.
Are they able to see from a bigger perspective?
Yes. Yeah. Very, very much so. Very much so. And then just the last thing I think I'd like to say on that is, oh, actually, no. 2 other points I've put on here, which I've completely overlooked. Sorry. With the Lyran, you kind of get kind of bringing in that community, but at the same time, there is this real pull for kind of like justice and integrity at the same time. So I don't know if there's going to be a point where she's going to start pulling people in, or even if it's a small group, for a bigger purpose, because that's certainly something that would resonate, because at the same, within doing that, there is a frustration of the human limitation. So like, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? Because of that older soul in there as well. As you can see, all of this is starting to link up slightly. Is this making sense?
I know something going on, so yeah.
Am I not privy to something?
Later, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is this a good thing, a bad thing? Am I halfway there or nowhere close, or?
Oh no, this is accurate. Those frequencies do resonate, right? That's what she's kind of getting at. I think that there's some other like earthly things that are in play that I'm not privy to. Yeah. But I'm gonna find out.
Wonderful. So to me, that was very much, I said, a higher level dominant frequency overview for Miah. And then I don't usually go into this, but I found that it was quite important in regards to, because when we look at the different waves of star seeds that were coming in, that she's actually one of the crystal children. So again, it is that peaceful, nurturing, psychic ability and heart-centered, which I don't usually go into, but I was told was going to be very important in regards to this message.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I don't want to go down that road too much because I don't know too much about the different waves, in all honesty, but I was told that that was quite important for her and her understanding.
That makes sense. For a couple of different reasons. Yeah. Yes.
Good. So that was one.
Thank you.
Very good.
That was awesome. I wrote it all down too, so that, because I know that she was a little panicky about that. Yeah. So I wrote it for you.
Afterwards, as I said, I have notes here. I can forward it on to you guys. I'm happy to, because there's a couple of other little messages in there which I can send afterwards.
Thank you. That's appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, for sure. I think what I'm going to do, just before we start, we shift gears into Kristy's cosmic frequencies, is do our station ID so that I don't have to interrupt and or forget, because that won't be any good either. No good. No. So if you are just joining us now, thank you so much for being here. You are listening to Spirit Switchboard, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. If you would like to find out more about the shows that UPRN has and more about our hosts, please head to uprntalkradio.com, and all of that information is there. There's thousands of archives for you to access. There is something for everyone, not just all high strangeness and paranormal. So I am your host, Kerrilynn. Today, my guests, I have two guests. Asria Beckham is here talking about cosmic DNA, cosmic frequencies, and we are doing a 3-part series. Tonight is part 2. We are doing a look at generational frequencies. And so this has really been fascinating. And my sister, Kristy, is here live with us this week. So last week we had my mom on the show. You can access that in the archives. Follow along on YouTube. You can access that on YouTube as well too. And it was so great. My mom was, I think, like, she really didn't know what to expect. And it really created some aha for her. It opened up it inspired her to do some research on her own, and then it validated other feelings that she's had. And I think that's part of why I find this fascinating. We have these pulls to take a class or start a hobby, or a pull to be an advocate for people, or different things, and this can help explain why we are pulled. I have more questions about that too, like partners, but this is where the research is taking you, right? Like why we attract certain partners or how it plays out within family structures. And for anyone that is curious or wants to dive more, you have some generational family members that would like to learn more, please reach out to Asria Ascension through connection.com and connect, because it's fascinating, and this was your initial journey through generational, right? So, the more that you are able to access, the more you're going to learn and be able to share with us as well too.
Yeah, no, this has been an absolute blessing, and I thank you so much, because it was, as I say, coming on before and kind of again asking the questions like I did many years ago. And I think that's the key, is starting to ask the questions and get the answers, not only from our star beings, but from each other, and learning from each other.
Exactly.
Because this has taken down a whole different path, and it is fascinating. And no, just thank you for the opportunity. And yeah, please, if anyone else would like to connect in, would like to find out in regards to their own families or their own frequencies, Kerrilynn's kindly put my details at the bottom there, but it's ascension through connection.com or Asria Beckham at gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out, because as I said, this is always a learning process, and certainly with the generational one, because I've been working with clients over the past quite a while now, and it's always been on an individual basis. So to do this as a collective and a family, it's been an amazing journey, and I can't wait to share more.
Thank you. Lori Brewer, thank you so much for chiming in. Folks, my friend Lori Brewer from Alberta. She is chiming in from Alberta. She has some really fun and exciting things showing up. She was like year 1. So we're in year 2 of Spirit Switchboard. She was a guest in year 1. So you can access that on the YouTube channel and through our archives to watch. And we were just chatting today, and she's going to be coming back on the show with some exciting things to share. So I appreciate you being here and chiming in and saying hello. Cindy Waghorn has a question. Astrolite Paranormal. So our friend Victoria is saying, I definitely need to book a session with Asria. So interesting. Cindy's question is, do the children come in with the same frequency in close locations to meet up later in life? Or is it to be in different locations to start to create groups, like you mentioned for Miah?
Oh, that is a really, really good question. So sorry, I'm just going to read that through a second.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
In closed locations to meet up later in life. So my belief on this, and I'm not going to say whether this is right or wrong, but this is definitely a bit of a head scratcher here, because I think my belief on this would be same frequency in close locations to meet up later in life. Yes. I mean, I think if we're talking about this, could be answered on many different levels, and that's not to try and get out of it. That is, I think, because I'm kind of looking at it from a researching perspective. I'm looking at it from a frequency perspective, but I'm also looking at it from a soul perspective. And I know your question here is more about the frequency. So when we're talking about the frequency, it's the frequency of our star beings, our star families. So yes, in a very short answer would be yes. I do believe that, especially on this planet, and especially at this time with what's going on, that having those communities, having those collectives, having those meet up as groups, then yes, absolutely. because it's only as groups and collectives, so we can raise our own frequencies, we can be doing our own journey. But actually, I do think that coming together as a group, as a collective, whether it be a group of Lyrans, felines, or a mixture of star beings, star seeds, is always a positive, will always be a positive thing. I mean, because one of the things that I will be touching on a bit later is, and probably mentioned as well, is about terminology. And one of the terms in which I was kind of looking at is the word family, because some people are starting to talk about star families as much as we've got our families down here. So that is kind of going down a little bit of a rabbit hole. But certainly I would say, as in, and not only that, frequencies recognize each other.
Yes.
And so if you are talking about somebody else, you might recognize that energy and that frequency as meeting.
Yeah.
As well, which is so powerful and incredible.
And you feel safe to be vulnerable, like you recognize that frequency, you recognize that energy. So yeah, I agree with you. Kristy's turn.
Okay, let's go. Let's see what, see how this resonates. If it resonates, that's amazing, and it makes my heart feel good. And
Cindy is really, yes, resonant frequencies, Tia is sharing. And Cindy is responding, thank you. Yes, it's like they say, finding your tribe.
Yes, that is a really good way of putting it. Thank you, Cindy. 100%. Okay, so this is where it's really, 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 really starting to get interesting. Because you are I need to kind of change my words here. The dominant frequency is feline.
What is the difference between feline and Lyran?
Yes.
They're different.
Yes.
Okay. I'll shush up.
You do have Lyrans, and then you do have felines.
Okay.
And again, that's something I'm getting my head around as well.
Felines are better and apparently funnier. They have the highest frequency.
Felines, I believe, are slightly, they're slightly more higher dimensional than the actual Lyrans. Because remember, it's where if we look at, some people look at it from a race of being. But it's again looking at the bigger picture, because it's the star systems. And this is what I'm starting to get my head around. So it's like the Lyran star system. You don't just have one set of beings within a star system. It's like saying on Earth, you only have one race of human.
Gotcha. Right. That's resonating. That's an aha moment for me.
Yeah.
Thank you. Lori, I'll share. Sorry, we'll share really quick. Lori is just sharing. So Lori, she had a death experience. So she said, when I was dead and came back, I could recognize the same frequencies after I came back, but in a different form.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
That is very exciting. Thank you, Lori. Oh, it'd be great to have a chat about that. That'd be amazing to find out more about. Yeah, especially near-death experiences. I find those fascinating myself. But
well, and not even near. She did.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it wasn't near. She did, and then
came
Lori. Yes. We're going to we're being careful about the way that we speak about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so feline frequency in that star system.
So this is where, as the family collective, it really started to join quite a few dots up here. But what I also got which again was fascinating, was that the being that stepped forward was more or less like a commander of a ship. Yeah. Was a command. Yeah. So it's very, I'm not kind of going into the abilities and the behaviors and things like that yet. It was really, once the frequency had been confirmed, as I said, there's more and more information that is now being shown to us. And with your one, it very much was as though they were showing me kind of like the standing at the front of this ark, this ship. So that was certainly something that you have previously done. So any of that's clearly come through within this lifetime as well. Because I know before we were saying around kind of having that, how can I put it? Having the, just looking at my other notes here, having the being involved in conflicts and having that feeling, but this is from a different perspective. So with you, it's having that as a command of a ship, which is really surprising, but like a ship's captain, certainly. Also within this particular race of felines as well, it's more about being the guardian, teacher, guide of higher knowledge, certainly, but a strength of blending strength with tenderness. So it's kind of like you can be rough when you really need to be, but actually you got a really nice heart in there too. I'm getting lots of smiles here, guys, so I'm guessing this is a really good thing.
So do you want me to wait to ask questions or ask questions?
No, yeah, let me just kind of finish going through this, and
I'm writing them as we go.
We can do this.
Okay.
Okay. No, I'm just saying, yeah, getting lots of smiles here. I'm loving it.
She is all of that.
That's good. Mm-hmm. And bear in mind, I've never met. Well, obviously,
you've met me, but we didn't talk about my family.
Either of you. Yeah, never met either of you. So yeah, fiercely independent and self-directed. Certainly protector of truth as well, because again, you're kind of from that lyre and star system, so there are familiar traits through a lot of them. One thing I do welcome you to do, if you haven't already, is maybe looking at that balancing the divine feminine and masculine as well, because sometimes one of those energies can spike rather than the other. And with the felines, they normally kind of more go towards more of the divine feminine a little bit more, because even if you look at cats on this plane, they are kind of not where they're independent. There is kind of that graciousness and that mothering element there as well. So that was the first. And then I can move on to, there was two very, very small detected as well, which we can move on to if you wish.
Sure. You want me to ask questions when you're done those next two?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Or do you want wait.
So the next two, which again, I wasn't expecting there to be two, but they absolutely jumped forward. The frequencies were a lot smaller. But again, I thought it was because they had come through at this level. I thought it was a really good thing to mention. So you do have a little bit of Andromedan in there, and you also have a little bit of amphibian in there. So I don't know, with amphibian, a lot of the times it comes through more on a physical. So kind of like the longer legs, longer arms, that type of thing. They were also really good at changes of environment. Sorry, this is more the amphibian, if I hadn't made that quite clear. Also with the amphibian as well, I was just seeing what kind of came through in the reading earlier was the fluidity in not only movement, but kind of like how they see life as going is kind of like, if that makes any sense as well. A lot through non-verbal communication. You don't always have to say something in order to know exactly what you're saying. I'm getting laughs again here, people, so I'm guessing that's a good thing. So very, very kind of like non-verbal communication. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. And then I'm just gonna take a little step back to the Andromedans, because it was kind of like the Andromedans and then the amphibian was still a little bit there. So I think your mum was Andromeda, if I'm not mistaken. It wasn't as strong. I'm just going to emphasize that again. But certainly emotional sensitivities, yes. There wasn't really too much that came up on the behavior side, really. Doesn't really like conflict. Sometimes can be slightly emotional, sensitive. But the one thing that did come through is a very, very strong influencer. That's ringing a bell with anything. Because I did do it for Miah, I'd done it for yourself as well, in regards to the wave of being sort of come down. So it's you're more of an indigo child, and that is this I did just copy is warrior, truth, challenge, authority, strong-willed, and so I'm trying to read my own writing here, justice driven. I've done it for one, so I thought it might be interesting for both of you. And then my next sheet is the overview. So that is my bit done. How do you feel?
Well, I think there was some spot on.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit, for sure. My question that I wrote down, so I was jotting notes down as we went. My question, I have a question for you too, Kristy. When you heard commander of the ship, did that make you feel exhausted? Like you're already exhausted being the commander? Yeah. So that triggered the question for me, for you, Asria. How does that, do we have cosmic frequency contracts? Like we would Akashic record contracts?
I'm ready to retire.
Yeah, like
this is...
yeah, I know that you're tired.
Yeah.
Emotionally tired, mentally tired. Because you have been the commander of the ship forever.
I run the ship.
Age 17.
Yeah.
Since age 17. So do we have cosmic contracts with our cosmic or alien frequencies? Do you know?
I don't. Yeah, I think I know what you're saying. The short answer would be I don't believe so, but I would agree with you in regards to our contracts when we come here. So if you then go to our soul contracts,
right,
that then link back into the Akashic records, and that is a discussion which I would really, really like with somebody, because I read, in my experience and opinion, I do not feel that we have a cosmic contract, because at the end of the day, everything goes back to source. Everything comes from light, and we are connected to various other beings. When we come down here, we have our soul contract, and that is where it differs. One, we are talking about frequency and connection. The other, we are talking about soul and contracts. So to me, they are slightly two different things, and it'd be really, really interesting to kind of bring those. Absolutely love that question, because it is a question that I have been asking myself and would like to explore more myself, in all honesty.
And would those frequencies influence the experience.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
And so
Yes.
can you tap into that to change the experience? So we can tap into our Akashic records. There's so I'm in the understanding. We can tap into understand it, and we can shift it and change it. So if we learn to tap into our cosmic family and our cosmic frequencies, is there a we're using it maybe not to its fullest positive and outcome, and shifting it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you can always use it as a learning to find out that in regards to as you rightly said, there is tuning into it to say, right, this is what I have done off planet. Were there any learnings from it that I could be using? If that is what I'm feeling right here, right now, what is the learnings from it? Again, with the same with the Akashic records.
Yeah.
Is that you go out there to say what lessons am I here to learn? What do I need to cover in regards so I don't have to keep on coming back to this planet?
Yeah.
So I completely agree with you in regards to, yes, it's we can have a look at it and say, yeah, okay, well, I have been doing that off planet. What is it that I was learning? Are there any energies and frequencies that I can pull as a strength? Because as I said, with these picking up on these frequencies, I'm not shown absolutely everything. Some of the times it's being also shown and being able to tune into something that is there, that is clearly very usable right here, right now, like this feeling of being the commander of a ship. So therefore, what I would maybe suggest is not on the show right here, right now. We could then go and explore that, and I could go into a session and dive in and tune into that more to see what else there is we can find out about it, what else I can
tap in and find out what your
it.
God's name is. Instead of going, Jesus, take the wheel, you're gonna go, take the wheel. And I'm tapping out for a wee bit.
I don't know where those guides are lately.
Well,
they're
always
overtime.
No. And so Tia being chimed in, and so they're sharing it's all integrated. To be discovered, to be, I don't know what to be discovered, soul determined, to be determined, soul plan in the Akashic records. So yes, Miss Tia is
so the soul plan and Akashic records
in October. Mark your calendars.
In October.
We're going to be talking about soul plans, Akashic records in October.
I don't know, but when I signed this contract, let me tell you.
So people forget, though, that when we look at it, we're doing that from a place of unconditional love,
right,
and not with ego. So when we're here, we're feeling it through ego until we've figured it out and can look at it from an unconditional place. So
so yeah, absolutely, we can then continue with that session and kind of go, okay, well, let's tune back into it and see what else it has to show.
Yes.
I think it'll be interesting to see how we all connect and how, I don't know.
Yeah. Remember,
this is only like one level.
For sure. And in doing this for you, what did you discover that was surprising? Were there aha moments for you in looking at it from a bigger perspective as a family generationally? Could you share some of the insights that you had personally, maybe even with the way that you did it, and then whatever you would like to share.
Yeah, absolutely. No, this is really where it kind of becomes, as you said, for me, very, very interesting. Because as I said, we do one or two people first, and then even then, when I really didn't expect for the Andromedians to show up again, we were only doing this on kind of like a higher level. So I was only expecting kind of like the most dominant frequency to come through for each of you. But it was kind of like, no, actually, there's a second dominant and even a couple of detected. And this is where I don't necessarily sit and go, oh, actually, you've only got a level 1. I'm only going to mention this. If
Right.
it comes through, I share and I tell. That's the way I work. So, as I said, to have the avians come through, to have the Andromedians come through, was really, really interesting. There is a sense of certainly soul agreements there, which we just mentioned. But the most exciting thing is with all of these beings is that there's this connection, as we said earlier, of within the Lyra star system. So I really do. It was also different feelings and different sensations, because I normally do one person do write up all what I'm getting through from when I've recorded the session, and then write that up in order to present it. We also then sometimes go through a little bit of a meditation. I know we can't necessarily on screen now, but when I'm presenting the information, we kind of go into that meditative state slightly in order for the energies to start transmuting. But with this experiment was slightly different. So when I done yours, Kerrilynn, it was 1. Then I done your mum's. That was on a different day, but I'd done it slightly differently with you guys in regards to, I done it together. I kind of was sitting in a session for, I think it was like 2 hours or something. It was mad. I came and I was like, came out of it, was like really thirsty, really hungry, really needed the loo. But I was just like, no, I'm just going to sit here and see what comes through. And the overall energy and the overall feeling was the same for both people, which I found really, really interesting. Because normally you do one person and it feels very different, and then you tune out, do what you need to do, come back in, and if I'm then going in to tune in for somebody else. But it was almost as though it felt as though I was joining something. Oh, okay, goosebumps. Yeah, it's almost as though I was joining something. That's what it felt like.
Interesting. Like for us?
Yeah, it's almost as though it's kind of like you guys were sitting around having a cup of tea and I've just come to join you. It just felt very familiar. It felt very warm. It felt very comforting.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times, it's a different than it's not quite a sister energy with us either, right? Like I know that we're sisters, but there's a different
caretaker component.
Different energy. So I understand that. Yeah, I understand.
So the whole experience has been very, very, very interesting. As I said, when I done Kerrilynn's, yours, and your mom's, I said that was, I done that very much as the individual, because that's how I would usually. But then I thought, let's just try this out and do 2 at the same time, mother and daughter. Let's just do it at the same time. And it was really kind of because I said I haven't done that before. I have done a mother and a daughter before, but again, different times. I think one was 1 month, one was another month. It was very different. And I didn't even realize that they were until much later on. I was like, I recognize that energy from somewhere.
Those frequencies between Miah, my niece Miah, and my mom, did they feel like very separate, or did it? Or could you start to feel like a familiar line? And
that's really interesting. And if I have the acceptance, maybe I'll go and tune in ready for next week, because I don't remember right now, in all honesty.
No, that's okay.
So I'm not going to make it up or anything. So maybe between now and next week, that is something I can pursue and come back with an answer.
Lori is asking, how has your, so I'll bring it up for you so that you can see it as well too. Lori is asking, how has your gift affected your personal life, and how do you protect your balance while doing all your readings?
Thank you. Yes. It was a very, very, very steep learning curve, I must confess, from doing other work to then doing this. There's only so many days that I will do this high level or in-depth readings on. I'll only do so many per week. I do other things like dowsing and psychic readings and all that type of stuff as well. But when it comes to this work, certainly, sorry, I can't remember the full question.
Sorry, Lori Brewer.
Well, yeah. So gifts affected. In my personal life, it has been so transformative. Beyond words. I mean, I get to meet and work with incredible people like you guys. I've met some amazing people nationally, internationally, and got to work with some amazing energies and frequencies. But certainly from protecting the balance is I have learned the hard way, because I did get to a bit of a burnout a few months ago, which some people might know about, is that there's only certain days that I will do the work and learn to spread it out. And also I would also put in there, where you say protect, is have my own protections, which I've used my whole life in one way or another, but obviously you do have to up them occasionally depending on what's happening. So no, that's a really great question, Laurie, and thank you so much.
I find the more that we do this work, right? So when we are immersed in it, that frequency, right? It changes our vibration, our personal vibration, and our personal frequency. It rings higher. So I know from my children, with my kids, when they were younger and I started doing this, asking for the frequencies to be felt with grace and ease by the people around me, so that they weren't reacting to this frequency because they're feeling something that they can't identify. So they would act out, right? So then when I caught on, asking for the frequencies to be felt with grace and ease by the people around me, so they wouldn't have those freakouts anymore. But I found with extended people, with people, it shifted, where people they would lash out almost like a hurt dog. And again, it's out of fear because they're reacting to a frequency that they don't recognize anymore. So they lash out so that's separating from people, and kind of like when you outgrow someone, the frequency shifts where you're not in alignment anymore. So something's going to happen, and having forgiveness, grace, and ease, seeing gratitude in that. But people, the higher frequency you end up working from, those people working in the lower show their ugly little heads, and you can't escape that. So, and it's their karma train that they're working on. Ours too, I suppose, if we're looking at karma in the bigger scope of it. So, and being okay with that, because it's what it is.
Absolutely. And I would 110% agree with that as well, in regards to there are people that have, as much as I've met other amazing people, there are others who have gone or left or fallen, or whatever term you want to use there, because their frequency and karma, etc., have been quite low. It was the wonderful Lady Dia said to me the other day, she was like, you are, was it spiritual? Oh God, I can't remember what the words that she used now. I was like, spiritual Valium. She said, I just need to like talk to you for like 2 minutes and I feel amazing.
But recognizing there's an exchange. So it's not a glob on where it's soul sucking and you feel depleted. So having that balance.
Oh, you definitely need to be aware of your own energies as well. And as I said, right at the beginning, I thought I was very aware of mine because working with energies and being a healer and stuff for so many years, but actually doing this level of work is on a higher frequency, and that within itself, and you certainly get different reactions even when I'm walking in the woods and things like that. It's a very, very different experience.
And I love that you shared,
say, like a few months ago.
I love that you shared, like, hungry, need a drink, need to go to the loo, because I'm the same. I have to pee like a racer. I need to go. There's like a purge that needs to happen, and then I'm starving, and it has to be something like that pulls me down quick and grounds me quick. And I know that there's other ways of doing it, but I'm starving, and I also am freezing cold. It's like I have been vibrating at this really high frequency. So now I'm coming down and I get really cold. So I have something to eat. I get grounded really fast. Then I'm back to normal. And then I'm usually tired and I'm knackered and just need this space, mind numbing TV, something like that. But it used to be like for my kids when they were all home, it would, like when you're watching a horror movie or a scary movie, when they breathe out and the air is cold, so they make it so you can see the mist. It used to be like that. It was that cold around me that the kids could put their hand and feel that freezing cold energy. I know. So it used to wig Brooklyn, my daughter, out quite a bit, but there's a physical reaction to working at that frequency that we have to honor. And other people may not get it, but we have to talk about it and educate them in why we have these boundaries. Right?
Yeah. I mean, I know here.
Kids, and you're like in your car, and I'm like trying to keep up with you in my car, and you're just going full throttle. And then I'll lose you, and I'm like, where are you? And you'll be like, I'm just grabbing something to eat, and then I'm going home. And it's like, brr. I was like, okay. Yeah, because you've been connecting with stuff while you're on the investigation, and I'm just watching orbs.
I'm gonna pass out. I need to ground.
But I'm behind you in my car going, whoa, slow down. Trying to keep up.
There's
that's wonderful. When you get into the zone there we go. But I mean, we've just kind of come through summer here in the UK, and when I have clients and they're like, I thought it was like warm where you are, and I've got like a blanket and a jacket and everything on. I thought it was summer. Well, it could be out there, but I know that there's certain things that you put in place before you go and do these things. And I know when you were saying, like, with the people around you, before I would maybe step away, but now even one or two friends, and I know, like, my mom, she'll go, what are they saying? It's like, you feel it too.
Or a towel. I'll do this, and then they know, like, there's something happening, right? And when the kids were younger, if I did that at the mall, they're like, no, mommy, nope, no, don't, please don't. And I'm like, I'm not trying to. And I would never violate somebody's space and share that anyway, but it doesn't change the fact that you're still tapping into it and tuning into it, feeling it. And I find too, like, it's a wonky space, like when you're coming down and you're finishing. So, and I find, like, because I'm driving from places, like I'm doing those big events, so I'm working for like this and tapping into so many different people, then I have to drive home. So a lot of times I'm like putting the window down, or I'll call and put them on speakerphone. I just like, I'm so tired. Please just talk to me to ground me until I can be in a spot, and then I'm good. But feeling okay to say that without worrying about judgment. So having those people who you feel safe to be vulnerable with is very important.
110%. Yeah. And also, I think that's a really another really good point, which I've been mentioning to a lot of people recently as well, is rest and sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I like when you were saying there, when you've just done a show or an event, and I would be the same if I, like, for example, when I done the 2-3 hours, however long it was, I can't remember, session for you guys. I think it was later on that I went to bed at like 7 in the evening. So I was like, I'm done. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Where before, when Laurie was saying, sorry, around how it's like changed and everything, I used to feel really bad, kind of going, no, it's during the day. I need to be awake. I need to be doing this and doing that. And now it's kind of like, if I need to sleep or need to rest, I'm in a wonderful position where if I need to, you do what you need to do. And then as you said, you either go and lay on the couch or do what you need to do. But I think especially at the moment with the energies being the way they are, or if people have just started to tune into their energies and frequencies and stuff, rest and just closing your eyes, whether it be for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, is, through my experience and what Kerrilynn was just sharing as well, is absolute key.
Yeah.
And not to feel bad about it.
No,
Not to feel bad about it.
That's part of the journey too, right? Is learning
100%.
to let go of, and the words that I use, which has been helpful, is thank you for giving me the opportunity to practice healthy boundaries. Thank you for giving me the opportunity for saying yes when I want, when it feels right, and no without guilt. Like, thank you for those opportunities to practice. And that has helped ease the uncomfortableness until it was easy to say those things. I remember when I first started doing sessions, I was doing anywhere from 6 to 8 in a day, 6 days a week for years. It was crazy how much I was working, and I cannot do that now. Like, it just doesn't. 3 at tops in a day, and maybe 3 or 4 days a week. And if I'm working in the evening, I don't work during the day. If I'm working during the day, I don't work in the evening, where I was working like crazy. It was a lot. And I just can't do that.
I resonate with that. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm feeling okay as we shift and change. Like, our bodies naturally, as we age, shift and change. So we just have to give ourselves that grace, right?
Yeah, 100%. And especially with the energies of the season, and as I mentioned on my YouTube the other day, is that I mean, on the 7th on Sunday we've got a full moon, and a lunar eclipse. We've got another one, I think it's like the 21st. So it is eclipse season as well. So you will notice quite some people will notice if they're that way, very much changes with the energies outside. So it's just remembering to ground and that as well. And if you do feel a little bit tired or a little bit more tired, so I'm trying to think of another word, it's okay to sleep, because at the end of the day we're here to like continue and to do this work, as you were saying, Kerrilynn, and certainly getting to those points of burnout is not good.
So for people, because you have not written our guidebook yet of all the different beings, which I'm sure is coming eventually, as you progress, right? So we will have this fabulous encyclopedia of A through Z as you are discovering more beings, because that will happen, right? Like it's different beings are presenting in those star systems, right? As the more people you meet and do this work, are there patterns that people can look for now to kind of maybe get a clue of who their cosmic or what their cosmic lineage is, like without having a session or prior to having a session? Are there things that people can look for that are maybe hinting towards a particular
certainly. And thank you for mentioning the book there. I mean, it is the journey that I've gone through in order to sort of be at the point I am now. It's going to be just like a little ebook type thing to say what I started feeling and seeing and experiencing, and so on. And certainly, obviously not naming clients, but the similarities around people and places and beings and so on and so forth, that I hope will be out maybe this year. Yeah, if I can get my
divine timing.
Yeah, exactly. Divine timing. Yeah. And writing isn't my strong point, but it's something I know I need to very much share. And as you rightly said there as well, thank you, Kerrilynn, is that it is my journey on connecting with these beings as well. So knowing, because there is a lot of information out there from some amazing people who have also written about these beings and have experience with them and have knowledge of them as well. So there is my own knowledge that I've picked up through the years and through working with various ones, but there's also obviously the knowledge out there as well, and it's kind of bringing that together as part of my journey that's going to be in there as well. But the second part of your question around what can people kind of look at within themselves as to figuring out their own frequencies and their own connections. I think my biggest piece of advice to that would be slightly the opposite of what I've just said, is that there is a lot of information out there. And a lot of it is amazing. But what feels right to you? So if you have an inkling or a little feeling that, I've been told this about, say, Lemurians, pick one as an example, and you read a little bit about them, take the time to sit back. As they meditate, some people might just want to relax. How does that feel for me?
Exactly.
How does that feel for me? People can say, oh, you're a this star seed, you're a that star seed, you're whatever. And that's also what I say to people I'm doing these sessions with as well. Does that resonate with you? How does that feel for you? And then we go into it a lot deeper than obviously we are on the show right now, but because we can be told an awful lot of things, and that's why I never tell somebody what they are. It is what is a part of them. So correct. If you're going, right, I want to know whether I'm an X star seed or a Y star seed, or if I've got Y frequency or B frequency, get those list of beings or images or whatever the case may be, whatever feels right for you, and sit with it.
I'm going to pull up that image because I'm being mindful of our time as well too. You did send an image and I didn't bring it up yet. Cindy is asking, like, birthmarks, are they a sign of lineage? My daughter and her two daughters and husband all have a similar freckle in the same spot. That's
That's real. It can be. But the bit that's coming through for me right now is that is more of a past life thing. That is more of a past life thing in regards to, because I know there's certain marks on certain parts of the body. Now, I'm not going to even begin to go down that route because it's not something I'm overly familiar with. It's just what I'm hearing through right now, is that it is a past life thing, and it could be something along those lines. As for the star being lineage, not that is coming to mind right now, but that is certainly a really good question, Cindy. Thank you. But I would more go sort of past life than star being lineage on that one.
Sorry, it's just taking me a second. I've got it now.
As you can say, this was my best work with ChatGPT. Maybe I should have named it something differently. But I just really wanted to give you guys something that represented the work that we have been doing together. It's not that I've just been doing, because you've very kindly given me the acceptance and approval, and I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to work with you all. That we've been doing together to bring it all together. So these are the beings that I've been mentioning over part 1 and part 2 of this.
If you could go from left to right, so the tall with the cloak, this is where we started with Miah, correct?
Yeah. So you've got the Lyrans there, you've got the felines, you've got the avians, you've got the Andromedans, and you've got the Atlanteans. From my left to right might be differently. So the tall white, as we were saying with the white cloak before, then you've got the cat, which is the feline, the blue avian in the middle, the blue being which represents, again, this is a representation. This isn't an exact, or like I said, it was my best work with ChatGPT. And then you have the Andromedian, and then the Atlantean on the end. But yeah, that was just my gift to you to represent this work we've done.
Thank you. So I'm just going to pull this down, and so, sorry, folks. Thanks so much for being patient while I figured that all out. Lori is asking, if a child was the next born after a dead previous child, was there any lineage or frequency sharing?
Oh, very good question. If a child was the next born after a dead previous child.
So I know, like, from the work that I do, there is sometimes energetic work that needs to be done in letting that soul know they don't have to carry the weight or burden of certain lessons, that they can have their own experience without having to step into the shoes of the previous soul frequency that chose to not come or isn't any longer here.
Yeah, and that's kind of, sorry, that's slightly why I hesitated there, because I was looking at it from a soul perspective and a frequency. So I think, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And from a frequency, no, because it's the frequency within each of the souls. So yeah, just following on from there, the frequency would be held within that energy field, within that soul. So I don't believe there would be any sharing per se, because everyone is individual.
Yeah. Mary Jane, I'm so happy. Thank you. Mary Jane is sharing, this is so fascinating. It is something that I'm just learning about. Thank you for sharing and for your insights. Carrie, thank you so much, Carrie, for being here. Hi, ladies. I have been listening to and can confirm with Asria to look within on searching with what star lineage we originate. I learned my star is from the Sirius system. Thank you for sharing, Carrie.
Thank you.
And it's true. As soon as you said Atlantean to me, I was like, oh, that makes a whole lot of sense. Because like from very young to now, anything when it comes up, it was like sparking a home feeling. It was remembering. It was a truth, an inner truth that rang true. And then with the who else did you say? Oh, the Lyrans. That came up in my in between session, my life between lives session that I had. Victoria is sharing. Thank you so much. So Astrolight Paranormal is sharing. Thank you so much, Asria, for sharing your knowledge. And thank you to Kerrilynn and family for allowing us to be part of your journey. Thank you so much for, holding space for all of us to do this. It was, I was just very grateful that my family agreed, because I've dragged you into a lot of things. Let's do this. It'll be fun.
Remember all those years where you didn't want me near you? And now it's like,
well, because you were always with me. Like you were always, I had to take care of you. Yeah. So I just needed a break. Yeah. I was the commander of the ship.
Yeah. And now I get, I've got this thing coming up.
Want to do this with me?
Sure.
Remember, like, folks, we lived in the middle of nowhere. So we had all these different buses that we had to take to get to different schools in different districts because we lived in the middle of nowhere. Mm-hmm. When we would get there, and I'd be having to get on the bus with all of the kids my age because I'm 8 years older, and she'd be clinging to my leg crying, and I'd be the last one on the bus because my sister's crying, not letting go. And I'm like wanting to kick her off me. And then I was mean to you the one time, and I got in trouble for being mean.
But like, then once I let go of you, Mr. Thompson,
who looked like Tom Selleck,
would take me either into the room or I got to go on the swing set, and he gave the best underdogs.
Yes. And he's in spirit now too. Oh, did you not know that?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, no.
I loved him. No. He was so amazing.
Yeah. He was a wonderful teacher.
Yes.
He was wonderful for all of us.
Yeah.
Especially for us who had dysfunctional homes and relationships, male role models. Like, he was a very positive male role model for us as kids.
Oh, how lovely.
Mm-hmm.
And even for our district, for our schools, we got sent some.
Oh, yeah.
Teachers.
Yeah.
But he was amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Michelle Plummer, thank you so much. Michelle is just sharing, definitely a fascinating and fun show this evening. So like next week, you are coming back next week. So we are doing part 3. And so part 3, I have all kinds of questions. And it is related to also like intuitive and psychic abilities and how we incorporate that, humanity as a whole. Is there a frequency that we're raising, on a cosmic level, and how does that affect us as humanity and where we are in this place? So I have lots of questions for next week, and we're just going to take it on a deeper level. So
wonderful. I absolutely can't wait. This has been, I can't thank you enough. As much as obviously sharing this as well, this whole experience is, I said, I've been doing this on a one-to-one level. So as a collective, it's been absolutely fascinating, and I can't wait for next week as well. So thank you.
Oh, it's fabulous. So folks, if you have family members that are open to this concept, I highly encourage you to reach out to Asria. If you're going to do it personally, please feel free to do that as well too. It is ascensionthroughconnection.com, Asria official@gmail.com. Is that correct?
Asria Beckham at gmail.com or Asria Official for all social media and all that kind of good stuff.
And thank you everybody for being in the chat. Tomorrow night I'm going to be on Banter with Richie B. So Bigfoot Banter with Richie B. I'm so excited about being on the podcast tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's 6 p.m. Eastern, but I will do some posts on social media about that as well too. So like Bigfoot meets psychics. So we're gonna be hanging out tomorrow night. I'm super excited. And then next week, Asria is going to be back on, and we're just going to go deeper. What do we do with this information? And I've got all kinds of like deeper questions about our intuition and what this means for us, knowing our cosmic lineage and DNA. And maybe we'll have some questions next week as well too. So thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for holding space for my family. And thank you to Joe Montaldo, our owner of our network, Michelle DeRoche, our network manager, UPRN, so our United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Bye. Thanks, Asria.
Bye.